Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Activities for People Living at Home with Dementia. We are proud to offer this series with funding from the Area Agency on Aging and the United Way of Tarrant County. These programs are recorded and are made available for viewing through a YouTube channel for future use. I am Martha Brown, your host for today's activities. We are presenting today Peggy Spear from the Amon Carter Museum of American Art and her topic, leaf peeping. Welcome, Peggy, and show us what you have.
That sounds kind of illegal, Peggy. Leaf peeping?
Well, depends on what leaves you're peeping, huh?
That's right.
All right, wait, you know what? Well, I had to restart my computer, and so the PowerPoint closed. Let me reopen it. Guys,
Okay.
All right. Oh, no, that's not the one.
I don't need to make you co-host, do I?
No, I had no, it allowed me to share, so.
Okay. Good.
Should be. Yeah, okay, can y'all see it?
There it
Getting
is.
ready.
There's the black
Well,
and
it's
white.
doodling.
There you go.
There you go.
Computer is against me today. Okay. Yeah, leaf peeping. When I lived in Colorado, so you're probably right, Don. There probably is something a little bit illegal to it. Not there, but we always called it leaf peeping, and it was always like late September, early October. You'd head up to the mountains to see all of the aspens starting to change. And so that was like one of your weekend activities, because there always was a snow before October 31st. So you had, there was like
really?
such a short window of time you could go in and see the leaves changing. So I thought, I'm feeling a little nostalgic, and I wish it were fall down here, because it doesn't quite feel like fall yet to me. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. So we'll look at some leaves, and we're usually, you know, you can hike or you're in your car. So we're pretending we're in our cars right now. This is the first one that I searched in the database, leaves in autumn, and hundreds of photographs particularly came up. So I'm sure many of you have been on hiking adventures, or if you were an amateur photographer, leaves in nature were always an interesting and easy topic. So this first, before we get to the photographs, this first one, we're going to look at an etching by Scott Gesler. This is not currently on view right now, even though we do have the Gentley exhibition open. But it's an etching he created when he was in school at the Philadelphia Academy of Fine Arts, or PAFA, you ever heard that, up in Pennsylvania. So obviously it's in Philadelphia. And so Scott went, Stuart stayed in Texas, and this is the only time either one of them lived outside of Texas. So here we see what he titled Leaves. Can you speak to what we're looking at?
We're looking at a mixture of trees.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, the one in front, has obviously lost all of its leaves.
Yeah.
But the other ones, it looks like on the left side, there's some evergreens.
Mm-hmm.
These on to the right may be live oaks. They don't look like they're losing their leaves.
Yeah, yeah.
Are they leaves, all those dots in the sky?
You know, Yetta, I don't know. When I looked at it, that's what the impression I got, as if they were glowing.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also the medium that he could be working with. He's etching on metal. And so there could be some impurities on the metal, or there could be some dust that caught when he's running the ink on it and pressing it onto the paper.
Okay.
So I don't know, but whether it was deliberate or not, it definitely creates the effect that the leaves are coming off the trees.
Mhm.
So the etching was on metal then.
Typically it is.
Okay.
It would say, I don't think this was wood.
Okay.
And he typically, so he went up to art school, and he found he had not etched before. He had painted prior, but Scott art creation came very naturally to him. He was a very skilled man from the jump. So it was no shock that he was accepted into the Art Academy. And he discovered etching while he was there. And he said that this would be his medium. He was committed to perfecting this medium because he already had a natural inclination towards it. And so this was his medium of choice. And then 2 years later, he abandoned it and never etched again. So, those flaky artists. So he did this while he was up there. And typically his brother Stuart would give him photographs that Stuart took. In Louisiana was typically where those photographs were taken. And he would create etchings out of that. Where when I talked to the curator, he got the sense that this particular scene felt like it was more of a New England or, you know, an up north Pennsylvania type of scene. So probably something he created out of his own mind or a photograph he took himself because his brother never went up, I don't believe, to visit him. And
So Peggy,
yeah,
so etching, if I remember right, you have to put some material on the metal part so that you can somehow transfer your picture to that material, and then it's rinsed with another substance that eats away just where the things are not covered.
exactly.
Okay.
And then you put ink on whatever is.
Yes. Yes.
So the parts that have ink are the parts that were not etched away.
Okay.
And so this little guy is only 2 inches by 4 inches.
Oh my gosh.
wow.
Goodness.
I know it's very misleading looking at it on your screen, but it's a tiny little scene with
No
such
wonder.
great.
No wonder he gave it up.
You got a lot of stuff on that picture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
A lot of detail. And Don said his calendar for next year is going to have a lot of trees. So maybe
Yeah,
this
it
will
is.
enthuse you to finish your calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I only need to do 2 more paintings and I'll be done.
Yes.
We're almost there.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, then maybe today might serve as some inspiration.
Yes, it is.
So here are we. Okay, so we're seeing the leaves leaving the tree, or as the part of the greater whole of the tree. We can't talk about leaves and leave Elliot Porter out. So this is.
Yep.
I don't have much to say about these because there's not much about it. We all know he was an environmentalist. He was basically like the premier color photographer for landscape and set kind of the bar for people moving forward. And so his works are just, the color is so rich and very little human hand involved. So I feel like these are just, again, not a nostalgic feeling, but maybe a nostalgic feeling, because think of all the falls you've lived in your life where you're either raking the leaves, because here you might be able to tell that the leaves are on the ground.
It's just a true collection of the fall colors.
Yes, perfectly put, Yetta. It's a true collection of fall colors.
Yeah. It's set on a kind of a background of pine needles.
Yeah.
Evergreen leaves.
It makes you feel cool instead of the air conditioner running.
Yes.
I felt the same exact way, Myra. All of these pictures, it's like you could feel the crispness
Yes.
of the air around you. It's such like a get your sweater, grab your warm cup of tea or coffee, and you just want to like be snug by a fire.
Yeah.
So these photographs were, or this particular one was taken in New Hampshire in October. So, fall. And this was taken years later in October, but in New Mexico.
Oh my.
Mhm.
Tell me what you're feeling, Martha.
Warmth.
Warmth.
There's something in the background, but you can't quite touch it. It makes me want to jump into the art.
Yes.
It's almost 3D to me.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, it's real. It's beautiful. There's not much to say about it, but beautiful and something recognizable, no matter where you grew up, whether those trees are native to you or not. I mean, it's just you know that the seasons are changing, that you don't see that yellow, that gold really any other time of the year.
No.
So maybe since it's in New Mexico, these look like they're leaves from an aspen tree or something.
I think you might be right.
The aspen shape.
Yeah, it's you can see fall's caught up a little faster with the leaves in the front, but it doesn't feel, I don't feel like it's focusing on the death or the sadness of, the leaves falling. There's like a warmth and an energy, like you were saying, Martha, that really he is able to evoke just from this blurry vision of the leaves.
Now I have to ask, are they leaves, those two yellow ones? Are they kind of a fruit on a tree, or what are they?
You talking about the ones in the background?
Yeah, my impression is that you can see this leaf that's below, that you can tell it's a leaf because it's attached to the branch. And that's shifting from that yellow to the brown. Here's the brown. So I think we're seeing leaves that haven't started their shift behind.
Okay.
You can see the blurred stem.
Yeah, it just looks as if all the leaves are attacked by some kind of an insect, except for those two
Fungus.
yellow ones.
It does, doesn't it? Like you
Yeah,
need to feel sorry for the brown leaves.
Yeah. Yeah, they met their demise in not a happy way.
Are you sick? Poor little leaves.
So we see, classic Elliott Porter leaf. And as I was going through our catalog, you can see like thumbnails in our database of the images. So, I was thinking, all right, we'll do a couple Elliott Porter because you have to do Elliott Porter. I mean, you can't talk about fall and leaves and nature without him. And then I was like, oh, but I should, 2 is enough. And I opened it, and it's not Elliott Porter. It's a different artist who is very much influenced by Elliott Porter.
I can see that.
That's
Wow.
beautiful.
Isn't it beautiful? So tell me what feels similar to Elliott Porter?
The leaves, the yellow
The
leaves.
colors.
The deep color.
Colors.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see any presence of a human?
No,
Oh,
this is all thick. This is a thick area that there's not even a rabbit trail through it. I think.
Yeah. And you're not really sure where you are in the essence of the picture. Like, am I up high? Am I down low? Elliott Porter, here you don't know where you are in the presence of the tree. Here
yes.
you're assuming on the ground, we know we're on the ground, but we don't know where we are in the larger picture. We're not, we're so focused. It's the same thing here. You're in the thick of nature. You are being just enveloped by the whole natural surrounding.
Peggy,
So this particular photographer, his name is Robert Glenn Ketchum, and we had an exhibition in the early aughts, I want to say 2006, with Elliott Porter and this particular photographer. And this was the first time that these photographers were shown together. And you could really feel and see the influence of Porter to Ketchum. So he went to, let me look at my notes because there's another artist we're going to look at who is also influenced by Porter. So this particular artist, or this particular photograph, it's called Autumnal Warp. And he was talking about the warp and weft of a loom.
mm-hmm.
And so you're seeing, to me, and maybe, this is just me, you're seeing initially the up and downs, the trunks of the tree, especially that one in the middle. But then it's got these branches that are sticking out to give you the back and forth the same way, you notice the up and down. So he was talking about this almost textural fabric-like feel of nature, especially during autumn. These colors you cannot replicate anytime. It's just so textural, especially those spiny branches, different leaves. But go ahead.
How big is this? Do you know?
Yes, it is. This is huge, 29 by 38 inches.
Wow.
So when you're looking at it on the wall, you feel like, you're almost stepping into that.
Yeah, it's almost life
Mhm.
size, yeah.
Mm.
Whereas the ones we were looking at of Porter, this was 8x10 or 8x7. This one's 8x10. Very different interaction with the photograph.
Speaking of warp and weft,
Mhm.
yesterday when Lee and Caleb were with us, we talked about weaving, and we spent a lot of time talking about what goes first and how you pack it in, and it was all about weaving yesterday.
Oh, how appropriate.
Yes, thought you'd
That's fresh
appreciate
on the
that.
brain.
And she also said that she wanted to do one with you for
okay.
us.
Cool. Yeah, hopefully I'll hear from her. Yeah, so also too, okay, the Etching was a art student or a photography student. And then during the time he was making these artworks, they were teaching in school, or the design thought at the time was never have anything front and center. And there should never be anything perfectly bisecting the artwork, because it's just not the aesthetic that people are looking for, or that it makes it feel like you're breaking it in half.
Mhm.
Well, he said art doesn't have rules the same way nature shouldn't have rules, or doesn't have rules. So he deliberately framed his photograph to have that trunk right in the middle.
Hmm.
It's really not right in the middle, it's kind of off the middle, but
It
It's
still.
off, yeah, the big one is off.
The big one
But
is off,
the
and I
three
don't know-
biggest ones are right in the middle.
Yeah, so I don't know if that, in his mind, if he was reading all three of those as one, or if he really meant the singular one. But it was, he was trying to buck the system, so to speak, and do something that was, tisk tisk in the art world at that moment. But do you find it distracting that there's a trunk in the middle, or do you find,
No.
No,
don't
not at all.
No.
I think it's beautiful.
It would be distracting if that large one were centered, I think.
this one,
Yes.
you feel like you're almost looking at two different photographs, or the scene is so split?
It looks to me like the three as a grouping are centered, and because they're different sizes, it is restful to the eye.
I feel, it helps keep your eye within the photograph, at least for me. I mean, you
Mhm.
don't see the ends of these branches. So they're, while we're, you might be following one branch out, there's something, the warp that kind of stops you from going out of the frame of the picture. So it's like, while there's so much weft happening, these warps really help anchor, in my opinion, when I'm looking at it. So, okay, so again, I'm thinking, all right, we have a couple Elliott Porters. Oh, this is an Elliott Porter. Well, we'll include them. Going through, oh, not Elliott Porter, but sure does look like him. Huh?
Ooh, yes. Guadalupe. I'm glad you're
Okay.
doing Diane Bibition prints today.
Yeah. Well, these guys are all drinking
At a rock.
the same Kool-Aid.
They were.
I wrote it for some months.
So I think, Myra, I'm thinking of the words you said. This to me feels really, the other one did too. I mean, but this to me feels so cool. The colors feel so cool, and you can almost feel that moist, heavy air.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And probably, most of it, I'm sure, has to do with the saturation of the photo. Even though, we're seeing a big fossil mound, something that's probably very dry and arid, but, it still has that mountainy, heavy feel.
Mhm.
Has anyone been to is it Guadalupe Canyon? Has anyone been there?
No,
No.
It's
Is
like way West Texas.
Is that where they do the Texas pageant in the mountains?
Oh,
No,
wow.
No,
that's
that's-
Paladura.
that's Paladura. yeah.
Paladura. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this isn't too far from El Paso
Yeah,
and north of Big Bend. I had to look on the map to see exactly where it was. But Jim Bones is a Texan. He went to UT, And one of his professors, he was really interested in the beginning, Bones was really interested in taking photographs of nature in black and white. And then he was introduced to Elliot Porter through a professor. And then he transitioned from black and white to color because, the professor preached this, or, enforced this notion that Porter was capturing the character of the land, not just the land. And he was able to do that through his color process. And so Bones was then very much inspired by that and wanting to capture the character of the land through this color process as well.
Yeah, I really appreciate the natural stone. I don't quite see the fossils in it, but still it's
Yeah.
interesting to be the centerpiece of this picture.
Yeah, it feels, in my mind, the fall is always in, the mountains or the Northeast. This, for it being, this doesn't, if I had not told you that this was in Texas, I feel like you probably would have guessed somewhere, north or in the,
Sure, I would have, yeah.
Yes.
But that fossil mound is very common. Those types of stones and things like that are very common in Texas. So then it's also like not as surprising when you realize, oh, this is Texas. Texas does have fall.
East Texas has
Just not around here.
Yeah, right. Not around here, but places of Texas do.
Yeah, this is down around El Paso.
Yes, yeah. So it feels there's a little more ruggedness to it in that part of Texas. And he took a geology class too when he was at UT. And that also sparked an appreciation for these types of outcroppings, these types of inclusions in landscape photography. So it's not just the leaves or, the mountains and the trees. It's these beautiful rock formations that have a character in and of itself.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
So,
How big is this one, please?
this one's 10 by 12. It's another tiny, not tiny, but it's another standard size photograph.
You just expect it to be larger somehow.
I think that would be very, very nice if it was printed larger.
Yeah, I'm looking at this. What you're seeing on screen is pretty close to the size it would be, depending on the.
Okay.
The image has a majestic feel, which to me
It does.
goes along with Yetta and thinking it should be huge because it's so majestic.
Yeah, that's a really good word to describe this, those dark jewel tones. So those are our, oh wait, I have one more. I forgot I snuck one more in. Totally,
All right.
totally not Porter-esque. But I could not find almost anything. I could not find anything on this particular photographer. But I just feel like this is one of those photographs that, even though it's in black and white, do you get that moodiness that you got with the color photographs?
Yeah, moody, yes.
And so you can see it, it's leaves have fallen. It's not just leaves falling anytime. You can see by the reflection, it's probably towards the end of fall. The bare branches.
So that's water?
Yes. And can you see past the water what's below it?
Well,
I'm still trying to see the water.
I don't see
Oh, I
water.
see. There's some
Rock.
rocks on the side, and that's the leaves floating in the water.
It's leaves floating in water. And then I think, Yetta, you said rocks. There
yeah,
is,
the rocks, yeah. And then you have branches. What is the word that there's just, what is the word I'm looking, mirroring in the lake?
oh yes, reflecting. You're right.
Reflection.
Reflecting,
Reflection.
yes.
Yeah, so it's a very layered photograph. So you can see, it looks like it's probably on like a riverbank somewhere close. The one note I could find of it that it was taken in Raleigh or Durham, North Carolina. And you can see, the leaves floating. You can see the ripples around it. And the,
Oh,
the
that's
stem,
what that is.
Yeah.
Okay.
and the stem submerged. And then the water line breaks, like right at the rocks. And then you can see the reflection of that tree kind of creeping out of the shadows on the
Right.
wall.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so there's, and I'm sure if you've ever taken a photography class or just had a camera and gone out and taken pictures, nature is always a very interesting subject, and leaves are a very popular subject for photography. So you might have taken versions of these types of photographs in your life.
Yeah.
Oh, just seeing these makes my blood pressure go down.
They're just so peaceful and beautiful.
They are.
I'm glad you're feeling relaxed, Martha.
Oh, go through them again.
Yeah, we got your beautiful greens and reds and yellows. Doing this really put me into the fall. Mood. And then I walked out to 85-degree weather, but it was really, for a moment, I was in the cold, crisp air of the fall.
Yes. Peggy, you mentioned the catalog. Is that something that only you can look at, or is it something that other humans have access to?
Other humans do have access to it. We just redid our website. And so if you go onto our collections page on our website, you can search our collection. You can use artist names, titles, keywords, things like that. But the information that you're seeing is only part of the information that is shown on our database. So
Mhm.
I can see a little bit more for security clearance reasons. And then also too, not all of the images are reproduced
Very
because
clear.
of copyright situations with some of the artists. and
Yeah.
things like that.
So not everything is in the catalog that we could see for safety.
Everything would be listed, but there might not always be an image attached to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you
And it
said
gives
that's
you, as we always call in the biz, tombstone information. So it's artist, title, medium, year of creation. If there's a credit line, like when you see, gift of, dimensions, and if there's anything written on verso recto, a lot of times you can see whatever those markings are.
How did you get into this business, Peggy?
In college, I wanted to be a marketing major, but the classes always filled up so fast. So I took an art history class and ended up loving it. And then the rest is history.
Oh,
No one wanted to take classes with the lights off. So I was always able to get into art history classes. Here I am.
Well, we're really grateful for you and
Yeah.
all of your knowledge and energy.
Oh, well, thank you. Guys, this is always so fun for me. So I'm glad we were able to leaf peep today. And then
That's
next
right.
week, we will be looking at skeletons, getting ready for Halloween.
Oh,
Skeletons.
What's that?
Skeletons.
Skeletons, okay.
all right.
All right, friends, be good. Have a good week.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
Bye-bye.
Peggy. Bye-bye.
Talk soon.
Bye.
Skeletons, that'll be interesting.
Mhm.
Well, let's
Well,
take a look at, yes,
We all think of one thing and I bet she brings up something totally different.
isn't that the truth? Yeah. Maybe even Madame Curie, you never know.
No, yeah,
Mhm.
You don't.
X-rays of.
Nancy went.
Oh, Nancy went away. She sure did.
Bye, Nancy.
Yeah, bye, Nancy. She usually she did say goodbye yesterday.
Yes, she did.
Oh.
I was really proud of her. Yes, okay. Are we sharing? There it is.
Yes,
Almost.
Okay,
there you go.
one more, Martha. Nia, moving to heal with Emily Corbin. So we can stretch tomorrow.
Mhm.
And
We'll
then
continue our relaxation.
that's it. And
Yeah,
then
that's
Friday, Buddy Bray comes back, solo piano.
Oh, we love
Oh,
him.
yes.
We do. We're going to get Buddy twice this fall.
Good.
He was available and she had a spot. So we're looking forward to seeing all of that.